everywhere I go. Fucking assholes. That wind is really punishing. Taste the Sahara in my mouth. They just good old-fashioned Oklahoma uranium dust. Spitting in the wind.
As soon as anything pepper spray becomes useless on a night like this.
Dry as a bone.
Very telling. Man, now I want to, if it wasn't 9 o'clock at night, I'd really want to go explore and see what the hell was going on. Where was it coming from? Maybe they fixed the leak. Maybe the person was watering their grass. Maybe it's too early. None of my routes are going to take me. Nothing's going to take me to see the canal, the other canals. I really wish I could clean that up. So that's not the homeowner's fault. This is all the city of Dallas. They put this new curb and sidewalk in and just left the dirt.
Signs wiggling.
That's a good way to sacrifice a few hours just playing RC Pro-Am. I don't know how many tracks I got into that thing. It got to a point where it was, I just wanted to see if it had an ending. It cycled back. I think it was 256 or something like that. There's only so much memory in. I'm sure there's guys that have broken that game. After a while, the game really starts to cheat badly with rubber banding and whatnot. I hope that ain't live. I guess if it was, then we know by now. Well, they really don't care. A lot going on. So I guess the wind tore that off. So now I'm looking at it, it says Dowlead Hair Salon, and it used to be Royal Gym. Like that whole section was Royal Gym. It was a, now that I think about how weird that was, they had like a pretty heavy gym on the second floor of a building. Old machines, old platforms. Never went in there because I could work out over at the school. I think it was connected to Coach Melvin Pope at one point. I probably need to call this in. It's along the path of there's a school. Okay. I'm gonna call that one in. It would be nice to get some daytime footage, but all they need is a location. nailed it. So that's where they get that sample from. A lot of people, a lot of like 90s rap, when I used to listen to it, they had a lot of samples from James Brown. The James Brown yell, the girl saying, "Hey!" Still leaking. They said, "Oh, we don't see anything wrong." Don't see anything wrong, huh? Or what? No, what did they say? They said it wasn't coming from the meter. They might be right though. This might be coming from, unless that's the meter. It's 10 o'clock. Anyway, Dallas County is not attracting enough of the people that can generate positive revenue to build the place up. I don't know how much of it is NIMBYism. There might be some, but this area is dying. Definitely having a brain drain. Where did I read all of this? 2 reports came out. I mean, there was a census data that was talking about that, the economic activity in this region. Area is it's suffering from the urban heat island effect. Too many roads and not enough trees. There's a lot of problems here. But as bad as I think this area is, there just seems to be this wanton neglect of West Dallas. Like, they did the study about the heat island thing, and there was hardly anybody volunteering or they could get sensors in there to find out what was going on there. But they know it's bad because it's in an industrial area. Anyway, no coherent thoughts. Just Dallas isn't doing so hot. That's the takeaway. Or I guess Dallas is doing hot, but not in a good way. Every time somebody whacks a traffic light, every time I see a curb crunched up, every time there's a cable coming loose, that's money. I feel like I'm walking around in my house, and my house has been invaded by a bunch of really shitty renters that just tear up everything and don't contribute anything. And that's about the correct assessment based on the reports. I live here, but it feels like other people just visit. Although when I come up to this nice area, everything is, you know, I don't have jackholes sitting there tearing up the traffic lights, shooting up the signs. That's bad. Like I always say, please tell me you got that. Look at that, man. It's actually smacking into the traffic pole. And it's because these geniuses put these stupid flags up here, so it's catching that. You know, they're like, oh, it wouldn't be nice to have some signs there, but the problem is it wasn't engineered to have that. And the other thing that's causing it is they got that fin up there where the traffic light is, and that's designed to keep it's a gimbal to keep the traffic light from, but it's also becoming like a rudder, a wind rudder. That's blowing it into that other thing. Well, that's gonna be fun when it tears off the mast. Plus, it sounds like people keep running into something over there. Let's see what we got going on here. Doesn't look like it's gonna rip out anytime soon. Man, that base is... Ooh, okay, I see what it is now. Yeah, there's a gap there. Wow. I wonder if it's supposed to do that. Alright, let's find out what people are running over here. Well, whatever it is, it's gone now. Oh, I see what happened. There's supposed to be a sign here that says speed limit 20 miles per hour, and it got blown off the post. Wow. So where'd the sign go? Oh, that's what it is. Okay. other ones aren't doing that, just this one. Well, the convenient thing is it's right at an intersection where you can say where it is. It's always the same thing. I send them a YouTube video and no one ever watches it, and they say, yeah, we'll take a look at that. And then the conditions that are happening right now, I can't duplicate them. So when they come out here, it'll be on a calm night. It'll take them about 2 to 7 days to get here and look at that. It'll take them 2 to 7 days because they don't have a regular crew. This door got blown open. It won't stay closed. Could have used a zip tie. But that would have got more involved. The guy would have been looking at me, what are you doing out here? And I'd have been like, you know what? Just observe, man. I guess technically that would be Encore that would look at that. And I'd say, hey, the pole is swaying. Send them a link to the video. Maybe they look at it, maybe they don't. At least my conscience will be clear. That's what I'm gonna do. It's not like I don't know where the location is. It's right there on Linnell, and it's the only light pole on Linnell and Walnut Hill. That's what they mean when they say regulations are written in blood. Somebody had, you know, they meant well with this, but they're not engineers. They're just people who want somebody to notice this. And they didn't think about how that was going to affect this pole that's perfect, that's cheaply and perfectly engineered, was able to stand wind by itself. And then you go here and add drag by putting these two flags on there. How could they counter that? Well, first, just don't put it on there. But I guess I could cut holes in the flag, reduce some of the drag. Does that count as leaning? Yes, it does. This is why I can't get the, like I said, I miss the days when I could ignore this shit because I didn't think that it was, I thought they had a whole team that goes through and just looks at all this stuff and says, don't bother us with this, Mr. Young. We're going to do that ourselves. We already know about that. And the problem is we started running our governments like businesses. Government should not be run lean. Because the lean government can't respond to disasters. A lean government can't do maintenance. A lean government is slow and reactive. It's not proactive. Man, all these signs are leaning. This is old. This is the old stock. That's just ground shifting. And in fact, that sign is faded. That needs to be replaced. That sign needs to be, well, no, it's okay. Still got some of the reflectiveness on it. That's not good. I'm gonna stay here so I can block me in case that debris comes at me from here. This sucker's rocking pretty good too. But I guess it's supposed to do that. Nah, what pisses me off is my this will count as I have nothing to tie this down with as far as, all right. Man, I'm not tall enough. Should have something to stand on top of. I'm not tall enough. Wow, that sucker is really on there. Now, if I had a oh well, I don't have anything to sit down on top of. It'll just get pulled off one day. this noggin of mine. I need if I can find something across the street. I don't have time for this. I know you don't. Maybe somebody left some trash or something that I can step onto. There's a guy living over there. Yeah, it's about to get thrown off. I guess I can call it in. It's not a bad idea, actually. The wind is so strong that it's just blowing the oh no, that's all right. I'm just gonna be proactive. I can't be proactive. I can't rip this thing off the base. This is counted as an emergency. Yeah, it kind of counts as an emergency. They said non-emergency numbers, and so they'll. Let's find out. The non-emergency number. I can never remember. I got it on that. I don't have it. City of Dallas non-emergency number. That's what it was. Okay. Police non-emergency number Dallas. That's what it was. I probably need police. I've got a, I don't know, this counts as kind of a non-emergency. So I got a speed limit sign over here off of St. Monica that's getting ready to get blown off the base. It's just it's dangling by a thread, and it looks like it could become a projectile that might hit somebody when they're driving. The closest Straw Street I've got Walnut Hill, and can you hear me just fine? I wish you had GPS that could track me, but I guess they got rid of that. There's a playground. Let's see, where's the nearest cross street? It is called Field Dare. Field Dare and Walnut Hill, where St. Monica Elementary School is. Let me get my bearings here. It's just slightly east of Fieldale and Walnut Hill at that intersection. It's a school speed limit sign. The bolt, basically the wind has whipped up so high that it ripped the bottom bolt off, and it's flapping around, and it's made out of metal, and it's about to rip the top bolt off. Can you hear that? That's the sign. Appreciate it. And even, like I said, they might need something to stand on. I'm about 5'7", so maybe if you get you a 6-footer out here, they can wrap it or something. Thank you. Doing something? It's doing very little. Like I said, I know they're not going to respond. All right. Back in. Did I? No. It just, the wind went around so strong here that it blew the tape measure. Yeah, they're not coming right away, so. Hey, I tried, man. No, I got a feeling they did all of that for anti-vandalism. That and visibility. Mostly probably just visibility. I guess I just never realized that they post that thing 6 feet high. Unlike Zelda, I can't carry a ladder. I mean, like a Link in Zelda. You know what makes me laugh is that was the first one was the only game where he had the ladder. He never had a ladder after that. What replaced the ladder? The hook shot. So in my head, I'm just constantly questioning what I just did. Like, that's not an emergency. You know, nobody was bleeding to death or getting shot. And I was like, this is what I was saying about being proactive. Like, it's not a problem now, but it will be a problem. Something happened to the other 20-mile-per-hour sign, it's just gone. Let's say that it hangs on all night. Tomorrow they're going to be having... I don't think this wind's going to die down anytime soon. was saying, it just, they'll get in there tomorrow. People will be going through the school zone. All of a sudden that thing comes off, hits somebody's windshield, and they panic. Cascade failures, preventing them before they occur. Maybe I'm being overly dramatic. Why do I think not? Because I've been the guy who gets hit by stuff. I talk to people who get stuff hits their windshields. And then I think about poor Ron Kirk. During the Obama administration, I think it was during the Obama administration, he came back to Dallas. He was riding on the freeway, and suddenly a ladder came off of a truck somewhere, bounced off the freeway, and hit right into his windshield, tore clean through it. And had it been a few inches over to the left, it would have decapitated him. That, I mean, that just perfectly encapsulates Dallas. Just it's lethally falling apart. I told her, do you hear that? Bang, bang, bang. I said, that's the sign. She goes, oh. And it sounds like I always get the same dispatch lady. She was the same one that 911. I was like, but this is the non-emergency number. Probably should have called the fire. It should have been the fire department. They got the truck and everything. Should have been the fire department. And they're right down the street. It's not like I can go over there and I say, hey, they got a sign coming off, and they would look at me. Sorry, man, we can't smell smoke. Something's on fire. Speaking to the fire department. Well, we know where it's coming from. Or do we? I smelled this earlier. I was coming up the street and I smelled it right around here, Park Lane. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, we can't leave the station. It's an emergency to me. And I know the line does something. Well, Mr. You felt like it was an emergency. It was an emergency then. Like, being comforting, but at the same time, you just look on their face, it's like, you called me for this? See, like, none of these are moving. But see, nobody put any blasted flags on them. bark at me. That means he's getting used to me. That's not good. He says, oh, I know. I was like, not really. Bark, man. You can't trust me. There you go. I mean, you know, at least pretend to perceive me as a threat. Hey, that hurts my feelings. When the dog no longer thinks you're worth barking for. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Yes, you can. Can I kick it? Am I going to be stuck here in this poop bag the whole time? No, man, this is like all those Michael Rapaport types. I was like, what else do you want? I left it in the bag. I was like, yeah, but take that with you. And of course I've hit the end of, you know what, fuck this. I'll come get it another day. Not much better than Michael Rapaport. No, I get it off of the... I'll make you a deal. If there's a trash can around here, come back and pick up that bag. Well, there. You know what? Yeah, this is my fault. I was like, when was the last time you checked this thing? I was like, it's been a long time. Well, it's time to strap on the big light. I did bring it with me, right? Yeah. Okay. See if I can keep the promise. Poor electrical tape's getting to work out. Well, at least I have an excuse to pull it out now. There we go. Stick with me. That's funny. I think so. Stick with me. Stick with me here. I was halfway expecting somebody to sitting there. Like I said, sometimes I pause for a second and then something comes out of the woodwork. Alright, there is no perfectly upright garbage can right there. Alright, I'm a man of my word. You know what's gonna happen, right? I'm gonna pick up the poop. I'm gonna throw away the poop. And then I'm gonna have Dallas's finest asking me what the hell I'm doing. I'm gonna have the most stupid story to tell. Shit, motherfucker. Got ran over because I was trying to pick up a bag of poop. Reminds me that I zip everything up. Yep. Hey, it even waves at me. Hey, I knew you'd be back. I was like, yeah, you did. Kilos of heroin or something. I'd be like, mother. It's like they made it look like a poop bag, but they're actually how they deliver the drugs. I'm over here on the camera. I thought it was a poop bag. I thought it was a poop bag. Yes, that's the shit, but it's not the shit you were thinking. Back here fast. What do you think? I get the shock of my life. I guess I've done that before, and then all of a sudden some robot yells at me. I gotta stop doing this, man. This light is really bright. I keep thinking this, you know, it's hanging off of my right boob, and it's not gonna be able to shine upward. And that sign B that says otherwise. No, the irony's not lost on me. Most people listen to music from their youth, and it's like grunge metal or hair bands or something. I'm listening to video game soundtracks from the 90s. Mostly from the 90s. Every once in a while, some of the new stuff sneaks in. Wolf Hero. Innocent bag of poop that contained a nasty virus. You know, that's the kind of stuff like the 1950s. That's right, Susie. Always carry the Purell. Genius puts it. This was not good. It's swaying. Yeah, it's swaying a little. Yeah. But this is a fairly brand new light, and it's moored pretty good. But I gotta believe that they talked to somebody. They said, hey, can we put this here? You know, this isn't like a bandit sign. This is, we talked to somebody from the city. They said, it should be fine. And the high wind comes and he's like, oh, I guess that wasn't fine. I called in that one sign because it was hanging on by one bolt. I didn't call in the light poles because they have 4 perfectly good bolts sitting there. And it didn't look like it was going to snap off the base anytime soon. Kind of a miserable affair. We had 140, 150 tornadoes just wash through and wipe out basically SEC territory. No, there wasn't a single tornado in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas, which is crazy. The whole weather pattern just shifted over to a region that isn't really built for it. 40 people dead. And you started thinking, oh, 40, that's not too bad. But then all of a sudden, that doesn't tell you how many people are injured, how many people are displaced from their homes, how long it's going to take to fix all of that, to clean all that up, how many billions of dollars of damage. That's how we measure everything now. It's not tonnage, it's cash. Swirling around. I was traveling north-south, and then you see how that sign was just whipping around. Oh, that flight that was coming in just now. Anyway, the volunteer program is for midnight. I get a feeling like I'm not supposed to see this. Why are you looking? I like the decor. You know, one of the things I've always wanted ever since I was a kid, because I used to see all these, you know, the old English gentlemen smoking the pipe and having a kettle on and the Earl Grey and the cups and all that. And he's sitting in his study wearing a fez and a smoking jacket, poring over his books. I always wanted to study. And I kind of had one. I had a bookshelf that had tons of my books from school and stuff that I had gotten through like offers and whatnot. And I just never looked at them. Meanwhile, I got this big screen connected to a box. And the box can pull up just about any book that capitalism allows it to pull up. Or at least for a guy who's cheap. I've gotten lazy like everybody else. I have not read Chuck Marone's book or books. He's got like 4 of them. I've just been looking at the distilled version, which is like the guys coming up with the video. This is how we design a street to do this, that, and the other. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Let me make a mental note of that. Keep wanting to read Freakonomics. David Graeber's Debt. Read Das Kapital just to get an idea. You know, you get all these people telling you what it is. Now you have to read it and kind of discern. And I get mad because when I was younger I had time to do these things, and I need to start making time. I need to start telling people to go to hell. You know, my walks need to start getting down to 3 miles. Tomorrow I'm going to be walking for 3 hours probably. I need to reclaim my time. I guess there is a way that I could read while I'm walking. I can get audiobooks. I keep hearing all my co-workers talk about those. I just listen to the audiobook. But the streets of Dallas are just so loud and chaotic. Trying to listen to an audiobook while somebody's or damn near skidding into me, not a good idea. You know, I'm of a mind that the best reading is to be done in an area with good lighting and silence. Now, I used to believe that, but now, like I said, I get so used to hearing background noise that sometimes I'll put on a track of something that, you know, like white noise in the form of just AI generated music or whatever they got on the YouTube at the time. But the music can be a distraction. You know what, I guess when I do talk in these videos, it isn't just about me presenting what's going on in Dallas. Some people just want to hear someone else talk. Maybe I have an interesting perspective. I never really thought of it. I was just saying to myself, I think that I'm always wrong. And then I have to sit there and prove, why are you wrong? Or I have to, and it's like kind of like reverse deductive reasoning. Turns out you were right. Give yourself a gold star. It doesn't happen often. here it is, 2300 hours. And you got nerve enough to have that auto light, but you got your sprinklers going off there, wetting the damn concrete. It's so wasteful. That's what I hate about lawns. Like that sprinkler head should be misting that onto there, like dew. And somebody says, "No, you just don't understand. This is St. Augustine. It's thirsty grass." I was like, "Then don't grow it in Dallas." Dallas doesn't have a thirsty grass. Doesn't have a future in Dallas. That was the other thing about the climate change report, is that we're turning into a savanna. You better start growing stuff that can grow in low water conditions. What I wish would catch on is people would start putting in like white pebble lawns. Because if everybody got white pebble lawns, that would reflect some of the sunlight back, and that would counteract some of that heat island effect. Or plant savanna trees. This is a really bright light. The only thing it isn't is it isn't a focused light. It makes me highly visible, and it makes, like, I basically what it does is it turns me into a light shield. Whereas the headlamp makes me a light spear. I made the mistake of not charging it. I was like, well, when was the last time you charged it? And I was like, you can't remember. I was like, this is your fault. This is not, something's wrong with the equipment. This is a PEBCAC issue. And I have been exhausted lately. Yesterday I went out and I walked, like I said, I was saying, okay, I'm gonna try to practice garbage pickup for 2 hours, or for an hour, because I invited Laura Cadena to join me. I know she's not going to. I don't know why she even bothered to put it out there. I think it was just to be polite. And I was like, please don't be polite. I kind of don't want to take her out here, because I was like, what if something goes wrong? What if she gets bored? What if it's dirtier than she expected? I get that she's a candidate and she needs to see what it's all about, but I gave her the video. I said, look, just watch this and let me know, you know, if this is something you really want to do. And I think skimming through 3 hours of video of me ranting pretty much killed that. So that's what I'm hoping. But at the same time, I'm hoping that my video points out, this is the animal you're going to take on for the next 2 terms. And this is, like I said, this is Northwest Dallas. This is tame compared to West Dallas. I look at West Dallas, man, and sometimes I think they ought to just nuke it and start over again. But nobody wants to hear that their neighborhood is a whole. There are some people fighting for it, but not enough. Sometimes I think Alex wants me to put together a video, but I'm not sure what he wants. Like, I like this format where I'm walking around kind of pointing out all the different things that are wrong. And it almost feels like he wants to get out here and rant about something. Let these useless signs do something at least. The sidewalks are my therapy couch, and people keep shitting on my couches. So when it seems like I get erratic, it's because they're fucking with my therapy. Leave my sidewalks alone, I leave you alone. It always pisses me off when people are doing stuff they're not supposed to be doing, and I walk into it. I was like, I'd rather not see whatever it is you're doing there. In an area like Northwest Dallas, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but in an area like West Dallas, I thought I was gonna get shot. And Alex is just calm as can be. I'm just like, all right, man. He says, hey, I know such and such, and he starts talking to people, and they're like, oh, yeah, yeah. That's not me. I don't... Too much of a curmudgeon to be sitting there having these conversations with people. Every once in a while, somebody comes up to me, or I look at a search, and I have to say something. And it's an accidental conversation. I want to be magnanimous, but at the same time, I'm not gregarious enough to go out there and just engage with people. Oh, sweet Jesus. Number divisible by 2, maybe 4. Man, it is always something. More people than house. Where is this coming from? It's always wet over here. So it was like this last week. When that jackass was over here just honking away at me. some bubbles. No, that's just the wind. Thought something was coming up. Maybe it's something under the street. And then it travels down here to the storm drain. I think there's a pipe leaking. How's it going? Where is that coming from? Coming from here. No. Something's setting off the red flags in my head, man. Something about that didn't smell right. Those two houses. Something going on there. Something. Anyway, there's something leaking into the street there. So that was what I had hoped to do when I woke up, or I was hoping to go to bed early and wake up during the day and get some filming over on Mixon to see what that guy was talking about. And I need to just send him a thing, a DM, and say, hey, when's a good day to come by and get some like film of that? But he seems pretty savvy too. He put it all up there on next door. He was filming everything. But I guess if more people start saying stuff about it, maybe the city will come by and do something about it. But I think that leak's coming from under the street. You know the rule, give them one more chance. Hand in hand, you and I. Cool in the Gang is just one of those groups that you can't nail down the head. So many different ranges of something. Man, the first time I turn around, there's no assholes coming down the street.